All right, let's pull back the curtain for a second. Forget the charts, forget the Twitter noise. We're going to dive into the hidden world that really makes things tick in the crypto market. A place that's all about ego, power, and yeah, a very human culture of bragging. I want you to picture this. In that dark room, there's a figure that we hear about constantly but almost never understand, the crypto whale. And no, this isn't some myth or a character from a movie. These are real people, and their decisions create the waves that we all feel. So let's get right into it. Who are these whales, really? And how do they navigate this massive digital ocean? You know, at its core, what makes a whale is pretty simple. It all comes down to size. Their wallets are so huge that one single transaction, just one click, can send the price of a coin rocketing up or crashing down. And here's the crazy part. Even though they operate in secret, their actions are incredibly public. I mean, if you've ever stared at a chart and just thought, wait, what just happened? Then you've almost certainly felt the ripples of a whale's decision, probably without even realizing it. But see, it's not just about making a profit. Not at all. There's this whole other complex social game being played behind the scenes, and it all centers on, well, the art of the brag. Now, you're not going to see this stuff out in the open on social media. Nope. This all goes down in these exclusive digital backrooms. Think of them as invitation-only clubs where the real game of status among crypto's elite is played. For them, pulling off a perfectly timed trade isn't just about the money. It's a trophy. It's proof that they're smarter, faster, and more powerful than the next person, and they put it right on display for all their peers to see. I mean, just look at this. This is the kind of trophy we're talking about. A screenshot showing a profit of over $2 million from one trade. For most of us, that's life-changing money. In their world, that's the currency of respect. And what's wild is that a lot of the time, they don't even say anything. They just drop a screenshot like this in the chat and let it sit there. The silence is deafening. You know, the numbers do all the talking, and you can just imagine the mix of awe and pure envy in that room. Think about that for a second. In crypto, a space that is just constant noise and chatter 24/7, the absolute biggest power move you can make is just to be silent, to let your wallet address, your history on the blockchain, speak for you. That's a whole other level of confidence. So if the money is just how they keep score, what's the real prize? Well, that brings us to the very heart of this culture. It's a game of pure, uncut dominance. And that's the fundamental rule here. Every brag, every screenshot, every quiet flex, it's a strategic move in a much bigger chess match. They're all constantly fighting for position, trying to build a reputation as the smartest person in the room. Because when you have that reputation, you have influence, real influence, the ability to stir up excitement or create fear whenever you want. That's the real prize. They become puppeteers, and the market is their stage. So how do they actually do it? Well, it's often a three-step playbook. First, you create a story around a coin. Then, you start building a trend with some big strategic buys. And finally, once everybody else catches on and piles in, you cash out. It's a masterclass in market psychology. But here's where the story takes a turn. Because behind all that confidence, behind those massive, life-altering profits, there's something else going on. Something nobody likes to talk about. So what is it? What's the hidden feeling that's driving this entire culture of showing off? Well, the answer is surprisingly human. It's pressure. An immense, crushing amount of pressure. Can you imagine living like that? Every single transaction you make is analyzed by thousands of people. A casual tweet is taken as a serious market signal. And if you make a mistake, it's not a private loss. It's a public lesson for the entire world to see. That has got to be a heavy, heavy weight to carry. And that really gets to the psychological truth of it. The bragging isn't just about ego, it's a defense mechanism. It's their way of projecting control, of hiding the fear that they might lose their top spot, and reminding everyone, and maybe even themselves, that they're still on top of the food chain. Now, as the crypto market evolves, so do its biggest players. We're starting to see a new type of whale emerge, and this one plays the game very, very differently. This is such a fascinating contrast. You've got the loud whale, the one we've been talking about, who's all about ego, leaving a very visible trail. But then there's the silent whale. This one is driven by pure, raw power. Their brag is not bragging. They move like ghosts, gaining influence without leaving the social footprint. And honestly, that makes them potentially way more powerful. So let's bring this all home. Why does any of this matter?
Why should we care about this secret culture of flexing and fear?
Well, because the next time you see a totally bizarre price spike or a dump that makes no sense, just remember what could be happening behind the curtain. It might not be random market noise. It could just be one person in a private chat making a move and enjoying a very quiet, very invisible brag.
This is the reality of the market we're in. It's a hidden world with its own strange rules, where your reputation is your capital, and where the entire crypto landscape can be tilted by a single, perfectly timed flex. And maybe that's the ultimate lesson here. Maybe the loudest players aren't actually the most powerful ones. In a market that's absolutely drowning in noise, true power might just belong to the silent ones, the ones you never see or hear from, but whose presence you can feel everywhere.